Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. So, hope you're all having a great week back. It's our first full week of July. Not quite earnings season just yet, but we're getting very close, and I'm getting excited. I'm getting anxious too. Just would love to see the headlines start to pick up a bit. The market's moving higher. A lot of tech is waking up, and it's creating like a very bullish environment as we head into earnings season. All right. Um, so, back to scheduled news, right? So it's a little bit quieter this week on the schedule front. So I felt it was a good time to maybe start throwing out some ideas of what I'll be watching come this time next week. Even maybe towards the end of this week as we kind of prepare for next week, right? And one of the busiest sectors next week is definitely going to be the financials, all right? It's kind of unusual, but this quarter you have every single major bank. So all of the very big boys, they all report in the same week. Okay, so that doesn't happen very often. It's usually a few one week and then a few the next. But the way this quarter lines up, every single one. So Wells, JP, Citi, Bank of America, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, they're all next week. All right. So what that means is that the sector is going to be very busy, right? You're going to have a ton of headlines each day. You come in, you got a big name reporting, and that means that it's probably likely to be pretty volatile, right? I mean, unless you're expecting the banks to not move at all, which I'm not personally. I feel like we're shaping up to have like a pretty wild week for the group. Okay, and what I was doing as I was kind of like prepping was just going back and seeing like what the XLF has done on average during the reporting period of like these big banks, right? So like when like the first ones go to like the to the conclusion of the last one, like through the week, like the few days after, right? So what I was noticing was here, so this is when J.P. Morgan first reported, and then through like the remainder of the following week. Okay, so that just the way like options are lined up, right? So you have right to like this Friday. The high this Friday, 26. So from a close going in uh, at 24.89 to like a high of 26. You're looking at actually sorry, it was the day before, so it's here. It's the 15th. So it was a close of 24.67 to a high of about 26. So top to bottom, that's about $1.30 and change, right? But now going out through April is kind of like a similar scenario. Maybe not as sharp, but you'll see when I do this. Through like the reporting period of like the major banks, it was a low going in of about, excuse me, so a low of about 26.65 to a high closer to like 27.75. So a little over a dollar. So say like a dollar to $1.10, right? So about $1.30 in January, about $1.10 in April. So this is basically through like the week stretch, right? Of when like the first bank reports to the conclusion of like the last major bank. So because every single one reports this coming week, you're basically looking at like a 1 week potential move, right? Because this was from like when the first reports to like the last, from the first to the last, right? So so you're looking at $1.30, say like a dollar to $1.10, right? And now like going into the options, right? I was looking at the XLF options, and the straddle for next week only pricing in about 50 cents. All right, that's every single, well, basically every single major bank reporting, right? And right now the options are priced in about a half of what it's averaged, actually a little bit under a half of what it's averaged over like the bank reporting period the last 2 quarters, right? So even if you were to like maybe buy a little bit more time, right? So say like you're saying like maybe next week it's cutting it too short, right? So we're going out an extra week, so through the 26th, so that would give an extra week on top of all those bank reports. Straddle's only priced in at about 65 cents, right? So to me, like I'm staring at this, and I'm like maybe 1 quarter is an anomaly, but 2 quarters, that starts to form a pattern, right? So when you're seeing like consistent, you know, over a dollar movement in the XLF over the reporting period of the banks this year, um, that to me is kind of forming a pattern, and the options are next week only pricing in about half of what it's averaged this year, and even like paying like a little bit more and buying like another week on top of it. So if you go out to the 26th, they're only pricing in about maybe like 2/3 of what it was. So like that to me is like something that really seems like there could be some potential there, right? It's like options that maybe aren't priced to reflect what it's done in the past, and the fact that it's you have such like a tight grouping of big names in such like a short window, right? Um, so these are the things I'm kind of constantly screening for. Okay, so it's not necessarily just am I bullish or bearish, or do I like one name versus another name. It's not always as like black and white as that. I mean, sometimes it's like looking for like clustering of big reports, and maybe like the sector ETFs. The options aren't priced accordingly, or maybe it's just like specific setups like based off historical action. Like the options don't seem to be priced accordingly. And this one just really seems unusual. Just as I started to like kind of screen for what would be moving, or what would be reporting next week. Like this one really stood out to me as one of those kind of unusual setups where it doesn't seem like the options don't seem to be reflecting historical action, or at least like the recent historical action, right? So that seems like it might be creating some opportunity. So I just wanted to put that on your guys' radar, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Whether it's the XLF or the individual bank reports. Um, love to hear from you guys. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out. All right. So I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Best of luck if you're playing anything, and looking forward to earnings season. So should be plenty of ideas in the very, very, very near future. All right. So have a great night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.